tell us, Amy, when did things change for the worse?
The night of June 21st, he came to us and sat us down at the kitchen table and said, I got to tell you guys something. And he proceeded to tell us how he wanted to experiment with oxycodone and how I can still see him and hear him plain as day. He wanted to experiment with oxycodone. He had looked up how much it takes for his size so he would not get addicted. But it had a hold on him and he didn't understand why.
Amy, I mean, listening to your story is difficult on so many levels, emotionally, and as a physician who treats detox and substance dependence. And I'm even shocked that he came to you. I mean, the level of communication and trust that he had and that you had as a family is just immeasurable. If he would sit down with you and say, hey, Mom, I'm thinking about experimenting with an opiate. I mean, when he says that to you, what goes through your mind?
My heart hurt so bad for him. As a parent, I just wanted to take all that pain away that he was feeling in that moment. As we had this conversation, as we tried to ask him questions, he'd pull away and shut down. So we just let him talk that night. We let him just get it all out, everything he had to get out. And we had a plan. He came to us with his plan. He's like, I want to go back to the treatment place I was in. I'd like to, get in as soon as possible. Will you call in the morning? Of course, I'm going to call in the morning. I called that morning, and they needed to get back to me with their recommendation. And he wanted to go see some friends before he was going to go away for a while. And that night he came home, and that was the last we heard from him. He got home about 9 o'clock at night, went up to his room. We all yelled out good night, and that night he took a pill that took his life.
You're very brave, and we have to thank you for sharing your story, because we know it's going to help other people out there and hopefully prevent similar scenarios from taking place. So what do you want Alex's legacy to be?
What I want people to really understand, that Alexander was in this experimental phase, right? That everybody calls it for these kids. But the experimental phase is incredibly deadly. And part of why it's so deadly is the access that these kids have to these drugs through social media platforms. Alex told us that night that where he got where he connected through a drug dealer through, and of course it's a very popular social media app. And, it's right there in our kids' pocket, right there in their bedroom. Obviously hindsight's 2020. There's a million things I wish I did differently, but I can't change that. All I can do is help other families understand this. And I really want Alexander's legacy to be focused on changing the narrative, really getting the public to talk about this differently, and to see this new drug landscape that we're in. This isn't the old war on drugs. We're in a whole different phase now. And I really just want other families to understand this and educate and make them aware that this can happen to anyone.
A very powerful message.